I want to talk a lot more about disfellowshipping. I know that in recent years within the religion, there has been an effort to move away from the use of the term disfellowshipping. I know that it's easier to come back, that oftentimes you can do it in a much shorter period of time than used to be true. But the core of the concept of disfellowshipping is still completely intact, especially in the way that apostates are treated. To put it very simply, that is because true religious freedom does not involve consequences for leaving your chosen religion. True religious freedom, the freedom to practice whatever religion you want, should not result in shunning. That constitutes a violation of your human right. Shunning is a punishment. It's a very powerful punishment. And honestly, that punishment alone is what keeps so many Jehovah's Witnesses still within the religion. I was personally never disfellowshipped. However, both my parents were and my twin sister was. So I have a lot of indirect experience with disfellowshipped people, and I watched and saw how they were treated. My mom was disfellowshipped when I was a preteen and teenager, and the way that our family was treated was my deeper issue with Christianity, almost like this rabid ego that left unchecked will hurt so many people. It's very much in line with the Old Testament. It was very rigid, it was built on a lot of rules. And then in the New Testament, you have Jesus. He instead gives us the law of love. You will find variations of Christian behavior, ones that replicate the Old Testament, ones that replicate the New Testament, and some that are in between. When my mom was disfellowshipped, most of the treatment that my family got was not one of true love. We were judged, we were given the side eye. I was made to feel like I wasn't good enough, and I was just a preteen and teenager. I hadn't done anything, and somehow my mom's decisions reflected on me as a publisher just made me feel like I wasn't good enough, like I had to work harder to be as good as everyone else. And I did work harder. I tried to pioneer. I tried to be the kindest, most submissive sister. I genuinely loved people in my congregation. I did genuinely love my congregation. I wanted to be there for them, and I wanted to be a functioning member that contributed and did good for everyone else. I did. It made me happy. But when I was in moments of need, that was not always reciprocated. It left me feeling like God didn't love me either. And it just left me feeling like I wasn't as important of a member as everyone else. And that is in itself a cult framework. Being made to feel like you're never reaching the mark is a cult tactic. You're essentially being taught to deaden whatever humanity you have inside of you. You are taught that you are not to feel empathy above following the rules, no matter who it's for, which is very inhumane. And to top it all off, all of the changes that have been happening in the past couple years, the allowing of women to wear pants to the meeting, allowing beards, cheering, going to pursue further education, these are all just attempts to move away from the bite model criteria. Other governments in other countries are beginning to realize that Jehovah's Witnesses are a high control religion, being threatened with losing their tax exemption status. That's definitely not something that the governing body wants to go through. I have a theory that if they did actually lose their tax exemption status, that would begin to be the quicker downfall of Watchtower, is then they would have to disclose exactly where their donations are going, and they're of course being used to pay out victims of CSA that the organization has covered up for quite a long time. This all touches on the information control. Current members, if they have heard of a trial in Australia, quickly shut it down and label it as apostate information or propaganda. But Really, this is just another example of Jehovah's Witnesses not being able to critically think for themselves because they've been taught not to. They've been taught to not question critically, to accept whatever information is given to them by the organization. Unfortunately, they're not able to make fully consensual decisions about their faith and beliefs. We covered quite a lot of information today, including information from Combating Mind Control by Stephen Hassan, whichever it is. Thank you for joining me. I know that it can also be pretty upsetting and triggering. So if you stayed with an open mind, thank you. I appreciate it. And I would encourage you to do your own research as well. Just because I'm saying any of this doesn't mean that you should believe me. You should definitely find your own credible sources and do research for yourself as well. I really liked JW Facts when I was leaving. They have a lot of really useful information and resources there as well. I would encourage getting this book. This has been also really helpful. It doesn't just talk about Jehovah's Witnesses. Stephen Hassan was actually a Moonie. So he goes through his experience within a cult and then his journey out of it and how he went on to become a cult expert and essentially help other people leave really high control religions and cults. So this has been a really invaluable resource to me as well. So with that, I hope that you're able to sit with this information, really take it in, say what you feel you need to, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!